They aren't telling us the truth. That's what people in Europe have been saying since they found out that their governments and the news media have been covering up the actions of some of the immigrants in their countries. And those actions include crime, chaos, and terrorism. Our Dale Hurd has an exclusive on this shocking report.
We now know there has been a cover-up by governments and the media in Western Europe about the potential danger of immigration from the Islamic world. It was a conspiracy involving politicians, police officials, and journalists. Europeans were programmed by a relentless media campaign to believe immigration was good, and criticism of immigration was racist. Months before the deadly Islamic terror attacks in Belgium, left-wing demonstrators were playing dead in the streets, protesting for more immigration from the Middle East and against stronger borders in Europe. Stronger borders that might have saved the lives of 34 people killed in Brussels last month.
No more walls in Europe.
The left's mantra has been no walls, no borders. But many Europeans now realize they were sold a bill of goods about open borders and immigration. Media campaigns like this were meant to condition Europeans to feel badly about opposing immigration.
But one thing Vincent has always had a problem with is foreigners, especially the new lot. All these Ivankas, Elenas, Bogdans, or Pedro, Joaos, social benefits abusers, stealing honest people's jobs for peanuts as a wage, stealing people's lives, wives, even their cats.
Voices who warned about the threat from open immigration were either branded racist or simply ignored. This Belgian Jewish leader warned CBN News a year and a half ago that the Belgian government was too soft on Muslim extremists and more attacks were coming.
You know, we say, I don't know if I will say it right in English, but if you want to eat with the devil, you need a very long fork. I don't know if we say it in English. I think that there is no fork long enough to eat with Islamism.
And the multicultural charade has crumbled. In Germany, when the city of Cologne was caught trying to cover up massive New Year's sex attacks. In Sweden, where the public learned that the police and the media covered up large-scale sexual assaults at a summer music festival in Stockholm last year. And in Brussels, which became a home to some of the most dangerous terrorists in Europe. In cities across Western Europe, women are now afraid to walk alone at night on the street. Muslims make up almost half of Belgium's prison population. Jews everywhere live in fear. This didn't just happen, but in many cases the information about it was suppressed. Sweden has been notorious for censoring the problems of immigration. Newspapers obscured the faces and changed the skin tone of crime suspects with immigrant backgrounds, but showed their faces if they were white native Swedes. The Swedish police even had a special code when handling immigrant crime, 291. Swedish policy analyst Tino Sanandaji.
Code 291, and this is, now in every Swedish newspaper is reporting this. The police were told to cover up any crime relating to the refugees. Do not tell the media, do not leave a paper trail. So, and apparently we're finding out now that there were hundreds of violent crimes.
Some Swedes have become so frustrated with the censorship that they go to social media to get the truth out themselves.
Hey, welcome to Sweden. This is the #1 rape capital of Europe.
A lot of Swedes are angry. They realize they've been lied to. And some are wondering, what else are the government and media hiding from us?
You have a lot of problems that were never reported until literally days ago. But they decided it was against their ideological agenda. They covered it up.
The man who found evidence that one of Sweden's largest papers covered up the sex assaults in Stockholm is journalist Chang Frick, who says journalists have been either too afraid or not allowed to report the truth.
I read books by Kafka, and I read books about what life was in Soviet Union and this and that. Everybody was checking each other. This is the situation we got in Sweden, but it's more in a soft way. You don't get in jail for having the wrong thoughts. You lose your job, you would get social stigmatized.
The paper Dagens Nyheter says the claim that it was part of a cover-up is a lie and that it could not confirm the story. Ingrid Carlquist, a distinguished fellow at the Gatestone Institute, has been warning Swedes for years that they were being misled about immigration. Now she feels vindication.
I've been trying to tell the Swedish people, this for 5 years or something. And everybody said, no, it couldn't be like that. Politicians don't lie like that. They lie about little things. They don't lie about big things. Journalists, they are honest. They couldn't lie about this. No. Now everything has exploded. And there is not a person, there is not a living person in this country who can go on doing like this. Because now it's out there.
Swedish immigration policy has now changed. It was forced to because it faced a system-wide collapse. But if you think the European left has learned its lesson about the danger of open borders, you would be wrong. After the Brussels attack, there were several articles essentially blaming terrorism on racism and calling for continued open borders. There are, of course, refugees who need help, but Europe's misplaced generosity has brought war to its doorstep, and some believe that politicians, police officials, and journalists now have blood on their hands. Dale Hurd, CBN News, reporting from Brussels and Stockholm.
It's a fantastic report. You won't hear that on necessarily any of the media, but Dale tells it like it is, and it's amazing. If a woman walks dressed like Wendy is, lovely dressed, lovely lady, she would be considered a streetwalker by a Muslim, or at least an open invitation to rape, unless you were fully covered with a burqa and had a veil.
It's our fault. We're causing them
That's
to.
right. You're inciting lust in the men, and you're a shameful.
It doesn't say much about their religion if they have absolutely no restraint whatsoever.
Well, the idea, though, here over in Europe, they just see a woman dressed like a normal Westerner, and they decided that she's a candidate for rape, and so it's horrible to contemplate, but that's the way it is. But nobody wants to talk about it. But Dale Hurd's talking about it. That's the way it's happening over there.